show. This is a really good season so far. I'm on episode 6. Um, episode 1, I don't really remember. Let's just talk about it. Panthea is a mess. Like, she becomes so annoying. And then it's like, she acts like she's like performing. She makes it seem like she's performing with her arguments and not just like having an actual argument because of that smirk. And it's just like I feel like she knew what she I think she knows what she was doing coming onto this show. I'm gonna be the quote unquote villain or the shit stir or the person stir, and because immediately she starts off with this ridiculous this ridiculous um story about her and Juliet. Juliet is this one, right? I can't. Yeah, this Australian Juliet. So she starts off with this ridiculous um, thingamajig. The story about Juliet was friends with her. I thought Juliet was the middleman, but she says she Panthea had a friend that was a dentist, and the dentist and oh whatever, I can't remember it. No, I remember the story. I just don't remember the dynamic. But Panthea was friends with the dentist. I think the dentist was friends with, and so they met that way. I think that's how that happened. And so Panthea, her son, had a broken brace or something like that. And so instead of sending him to like his actual dentist, she sent him to her, I guess to get a discount maybe or something. And Juliet and the dentist was like, "Wait, you got cavities. We need to fill them." And so he came home and he was like, "Mom, I got my cavities filled, but I didn't get the brace fixed." And she was like, "What? What are you talking about?" She was like, Panthea made make these allegations like there was no proof. She didn't take like pictures. There was no like invoice, or there was an invoice, but not for the broken brace. No, no, no. There wasn't. She just said there wasn't proof. And so now she was like going around. I guess she went around and told everybody on social media this is a bad dentist, yada yada yada. And Juliet was like, "I don't roll like that. You acting a little crazy." And Juliet was just like, I guess Juliet took the dentist. It was like fraud. She's basically saying the dentist is a fraudulent person, and it's like, oh my god, it's like she really went there. And so Julia, they just go back and forth, and then we meet Amanda. I keep wanting to call her Amanda Lepore. It's like the blonde, the like the makeup, the face. We met Amanda, and Amanda is like, uh, she's been married a couple of times, a lot of times. I think 4. I guess she's like a maybe like a Kim Kardashian type person. She has like this makeup business and it's exploded. Her house is really, really nice. So think about those houses and like they look similar to the brownstones in America. And I'm like, are brownstones and like those townhouses, like are those walls thin? Because I'm like, to be living right next to each other seems crazy. And then to think like they do construction on like a house, I feel like that's a lot of work too, and like that's annoying, especially if you're like somebody's neighbor. You're hearing everything. I could be wrong. I don't know, but her house is really nice. I did find it like funny that she had an office and I don't know if like it was like a spa type place. I don't know if that was her part of her business or part of the which is like in her house because what's her name? She came over. She used to work, I guess, in corporate America or something like that. I mean, corporate UK or something like that. And so she quit, and now she's like a cake business. She brought a cake over because they're having a party. It was a National Women's Day party. She brought the cake over. And so everybody comes over. She's not in there yet. Where is Karen? Oh, there she is. Karen is my absolute favorite. I wasn't sure what Karen was gonna bring to the show because she seemed kind of, reserved, making a little joke here and there. But Karen ends up turning the Karen ends up turning the show around. So they have like this the party, the Women's Day party over at Amanda's, and these two get into it, and it just like, I, it just becomes so ridiculous what they're arguing about. Like, you're not a good person. She's like, she was saying she's not, Panthea's not a good person, which you kind of can see because Panthea went around talking about this dentist story to everybody. Like, who gives a, but trying to like really paint Juliet to be like this nasty like person that's not that's taking the side of a fraudulent dentist, which doesn't make sense. So Panthea, they're just going back and forth, and we end up finding out this is like a 6 year old situation. This happened 6 years ago, and I'm just like, this is embarrassing to like bring this on the show to be what you're arguing about. Something that happened 6 years ago. Anyways, so then wait, let me go back. Let me. Does it give you that? Because I don't remember what happened. The second episode, bring together Karen hosts the elegant dinner. Okay, Karen has hosted dinner. Julia appeared there. Yeah, they go back at it again. The dinner was nice. And then they end up making up. And then the third episode, Karen that connects to Jamaican heritage. I don't remember that part. Reflects on her family. So Panthea ends up telling us that her dad went back to Iran. I think they were, and it was that was a trippy conversation, a trippy story. It was like her dad and mom moved to London. By the way, all these, I really do like that there's such a diverse. It's very like Real Housewives of Miami. Like they're everybody is very. It's a very diverse cast. We have Jamaica. We have the Middle East. We have I think the other lady is like Singaporean from Singapore or something like that. Um, and then we have like the American, whatever. But yeah, they're talking about dad and mom moved to Iran, and they fled some kind of war that was going on or something. I forgot. And then her dad ended up going back to Iran, I guess because he missed it or something, and just left. You know how they used to do back in the day. Just leave whole families and go to other countries and have other families and yada yada yada. So that's what that is. And so everybody was like kind of picking up on, oh, you got issues, girl. Well, I think the audience, maybe I picked up like, oh, you got issues, and then you're kind of projecting those issues onto other people. Then they go to Cotswold, and that was a fun episode or a fun time getting there. I'm trying to think. We end up seeing that Panthea, not Pan- yeah, Panthea and Karen, they have where's it at? Panthea and Karen solo scene together, which was cool, which was cool. But it ended up showing how she was like, they were at dinner. They were at Karen's dinner in the second episode. And Karen was like, you just like talk about yourself so much and you don't ask about me. I'm in the room. But Panthea did say, we were on the phone for 3 hours, but like still like as a conversation. And we just cut to like these like clips of Panthea just talking about herself and being like me, and even like she does it so much. It's not like, oh, am I really talking about myself? Let me ask about you, or try not to do that so much. Like you cut to uh Karen's like. See, you're talking about yourself again, and I'm so sick of it. Karen got jokes. Karen's little jokes are hilarious. I love Karen. What's her name? Karen Justice Peach or something like that. Karen is hilarious, and Karen is witty. Karen gives it up. I didn't like I said. I think Karen was gonna bring. I thought Karen was gonna be whatever her name is. I, she's boring, but she's talented. I like that she was like playing the piano. She bakes cakes. She's a mother. She got it going on. And then Juliet over here, not that one. Juliet, she's over here. She's a singer. We end up finding out in the I think like the next episode. They're from Juliet and then this Juliet are from Ladies of London because this Juliet keeps having scenes with that one lady from the Ladies of London. I forget her name, but she's annoying. And I'm like, do we really need to see her again? This is the second time in 2 episodes. This is not her show. Why is she here? Um, excuse me. Okay, so then they go on to they're at Cotswold, and I thought they were gonna stay at the house, but they ended up staying Cotswold. This one was hosted by whatever her name is. She's really the only person I don't know whose name is because she hasn't really brought a lot to the. She hasn't really brought something interesting to remember her by. Um, Julia is gorgeous, but they're all from Ladies of London. Well, half of them were for ladies, a couple of them from Ladies of London, and I was just like, that's why she looks so familiar. And then she's a singer or something like that. Whatever. Um, Cotswold. So they have like this dinner. They get there. I think Panthea brought a friend. I don't remember whose friend that was. It might have been Amanda's. She brought a friend. I thought they were gonna stay at the like cottage mansion place, but they end up staying, I think, at a hotel. They do like this, like these little games where like they're running and chasing stuff and catching stuff and throwing wellies. I think they call them boots. And just like it was like a fun, actually fun, like looking game. Or at least they look like they had fun. And so Panthea, they're all getting ready in the car on this in the sprinter on their way to the dinner with this like high prestigious man outside waiting for them, and they have like this big grand dinner waiting to be eaten. And oh wait, before that, she Panthea stirs up stuff, but she can't take it. Because Panthea sat there and had like a little one-on-one date with Amanda, talking about we heard your legs are long and they spread wide open, and because there's this whole thing about Amanda. I don't really know. I don't from the the show telling us she's had a couple of men and the whole like uh you've used these men to get where you've gotten, and it's like all y'all got an old white man on your arm. You've all used the man to get where you've gotten. Like, please get out of here with that. Like, none of the all every single one of these women on this cast have an old white man. And I'm adoring Karen down, but her man is 18 years older than her. So I'm just like, oh, y'all got somebody. Am I yelling? Why am I yelling? So, anyways, Panthea, just being slightly rude to Amanda, and Amanda's like not taking it. So then, okay, back to the dinner. The dinner. So they're in the dinner and they're in the sprinter, and so I forgot what sparked the conversation, but Panthea said something, and Karen was like, "Well, you're not really a good host. You invited me into your house, and the first thing you said was talking about my lenses." And so we they show that clip. Panthea hasn't even walked in the door completely, and Karen hasn't even walked in the door completely, and Panthea is like, "You got some good lenses. Your contact lenses look pretty." And she's like, "What?" Karen said, "What lenses? What are you talking about?" She said, "You were pulling on me talking about I got some good lenses." She's like, "I can't have light eyes. I can have pretty eyes." It just like sort of like went right over Karen Panthea's head. Like she's not grasping these criticisms or these concerns or these things about her that people are saying. She's not grasping any of this, and it's hilarious. It's annoying to watch, but it's hilarious to have like looking at them and their banter. But so then Panthea is like, well, I've had friends in Jersey, or I've had people tell me that you're no, you're. She was like, Karen was like, "You're not such a good lady. You're not ladylike. You're not like a really good host." And that I guess that kind of set Panthea off because Panthea was like, "I'm not a good lady. I'm not a good host." Well, at least I what did she say? She's like, oh, she started talking about like, oh, at least I didn't sell clothes. I don't know what that means over there, but she made it feel like a derogatory term, and I'm just like, Panthea. I don't think she could be racist, but she probably could be like discriminatory or what's the word? I'm forgetting the word. It's like objective, projective, protective, something. She's she could be very judgmental of Karen, and it's only coming off like that towards Karen because then she was like, I have friends in Jersey telling me that you aren't a good lady, or we've heard some rumors about you and stuff like that. But I'm just like, why didn't she have that kind of energy? It's like a different energy talking because she's talking about location with Karen, and it's like, why didn't you have that same ugh? It's a different ugh Panthea is having with Karen than what she had with Juliet. Anyway, so they bring it on in the house, and Karen really wasn't having it because she was just like, Karen was like, I think we sat down in the car, I mean in the house, and they're eating. Homegirl was playing like she's being embarrassed, but I'm like, nobody could really hear what was going on. They were just waiting. That old man was just waiting for them to come in. You're being a little dramatic. So Karen sits down. She's like, "Look at my invitation. We're having tea with I think Prince Charles or somebody high up." And Karen Panthea is like, uh, "You've never had. You act like you're the only person who's ever been to the castle to have tea. We've been there many times." And she's just like, "Girl, shut up. Anybody ask you all of that?" I said I'm gonna have tea because my I think her husband actually has like an actual high job. The way she was explaining it in the castle or in the government over there. And so Panthea, they ended up. The shade was hilarious. She was paying her dust, and she kept talking about I heard people in Jersey talk about you and yada yada yada. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. They ended up making up, which I didn't. Oh, that was the episode that flubbed because this isn't on like American television or Peacock. So I've been watching it on like this website, and it flubbed. So they ended up making up, and so then they go on to this dinner. Let me hurry up because I got something to do. They end up going on to this dinner. Oh, the next episode, Juliet is host. I'm trying to make sure nothing else really happened. Oh. So when they came back in from making up, she was like, the rest of the girls, their faces look like they didn't want us to make up. So I end up, I think first she said she had dinner with them the next night without Panthea, and they were like, she brought up her name to see who was going to be on her side, and she said Amanda and this lady seemed like they still had a problem because they were like, you guys all look like you have a problem with us making up, and Karen's like, I just want to move on. I don't want to keep harboring on to this mess, this like weird thing that she keeps doing. So they read this. She was this. I think this is how it went. She went on. She had the dinner. She said these two didn't act like they were on her side, or like they really cared about them making up. They seemed like it was like fake or something like that. And so then she said, Karen said she put on Instagram, and she was like, "Yeah, these ladies. This is how you catch a snake. You do these different steps, and that's how you catch a snake, or that's how you perceive to catch fake people, or something like that, something like that." And so Karen was like, "When I made it, I wanted to see who was gonna say something, and whoever a hit dog will holler." And so who hollered? Amanda didn't holler. I think she was shocked, and then Panthea was shocked also. I think she was shocked also, or she was confused because she was like, why is she talking about us? Was all that she did was like her trying to make up with her fake? And she was like, no, it wasn't fake. I was just trying to see, to weed out the weed out the people who are acting weird. And so after that, they ended up going to, Panthea sits down with homegirl over here. I should learn her name. She sits down with her, and she's like, they like had this epiphany about what the Instagram story text was about, and so she talks about, she's like, oh, I don't really trust. I don't trust Karen. I'm gonna keep her at a distance now because something's going on with her. Then we ended up, wait, no, that was this episode. So then they ended up having this Juliet ends up having this picnic. Julia is hilarious. She was like, we need to, she's setting up tables, and she's always bringing it back to being an entertainer. She's like, being an entertainer has set me up to have the ability to entertain guests and have wonderful dinner parties. So we're gonna have a picnic in the park, and everybody and their families are invited. Wear your floral, and she's like, "How many place cards or whatever do we need to have on each table?" And she's like, "Anybody? Can somebody give me the mathematicals?" And she's like, somebody's like 7. She's like, "Yeah, 7. Thank you so much, darling." It was so fucking funny. And so everybody comes. Everybody comes. Oh, before the picnic, we see the girl from Real Housewives of Dubai and Ladies of London bring in this Juliet, who's American, and Juliet is like has this weird story, a slightly confusing story, because I'm like, maybe because she's using the word girlfriend, and I'm thinking like someone's cheating on somebody. But Juliet, I mean, yeah, American Juliet and Amanda used to be friends during the COVID lockdown. And so let me come back to that one. I gotta go. I'll be back.